Hey everyone, thank you for joining me on another beautiful episode of Brooklyn Baritone Productions. Anytime that you choose to join me, morning, nighttime, late at night, evening, afternoon, whenever, I always appreciate the views and the support. If you want to subscribe, sure, of course I'd love if you do it, but do it at your own. I have no pressure if you do or don't. I'm going to get right into it. Everyone is in their feelings, especially after this presidential election. But that's precisely the problem, is that people are in their feelings instead of moving with wisdom and discernment. Regardless of which party or person that you support, at this point in our existence, I can say with confidence that most high-level politicians are compromised elitist entities that work hand in hand with each other to tighten the Luciferian net around as many people as possible. And that's a lot to start this off and go into, but I'm going to definitely explain and, of course, keep it as consolidated as possible. There are those who want to live with no constraints, love how they want to live, do what they want to do, and only focus on their happiness. There are those that believe that they are following Christian values, yet they don't have proper discernment of the scriptures. So they will be prone to follow policies and people that would lead them astray from the actual will of Yahuwah Almighty. Then there are those that align themselves with beliefs that remove individuality and the traditional family. This is all an occult agenda. It all defies Yahuwah's will, what he made us for, he made this creation for. I'm going to tie all this together with an excerpt from the 33rd degree Freemason Albert Pike to Giuseppe Mazzini. Giuseppe Mazzini, he was an Italian revolutionary leader from the mid-1800s, as well as a director of the Illuminati. A lot of key things happened in the 1800s, mid-1800s, late 1800s, a lot of things if you dig into history. Now, Albert Pike, was a 33rd degree Freemason, an occultist, Grand Master, and creator of the southern jurisdiction of the Masonic Scottish Rite Order. Following are excerpts from the 3 world wars, which were pre-planned apparently. The following is a letter that speculation claimed that Albert Pike wrote to Giuseppe Mazzini in 1871 regarding a conspiracy involving 3 world wars that were planned in an attempt to take over the world. The Third World War must be fomented by taking advantage of the differences caused by the agent tour of the Illuminati between the political Zionists and the leaders of Islamic world. The war must be conducted in such a way that Islam, the Muslim Arabic world, and political Zionism, the state of Israel, mutually destroy each other. Meanwhile, the other nations, once more divided on this issue, which we all are, will be constrained to fight to the point of complete physical, moral, spiritual, and economical exhaustion. We shall unleash the nihilists and the atheists, and we shall provoke a formidable social cataclysm, which in all its horror will show clearly to the nations the effect of absolute atheism, origin of savagery, and of the most bloody turmoil. Then everywhere, the citizens, obliged to defend themselves against the world minority revolutionaries, will exterminate those destroyers of civilization, and the multitude disillusioned with Christianity, which many people are now, whose deistic spirits will from that moment be without compass or direction, anxious for an ideal, but without knowing where to render its adoration, will receive the true light through the universal manifestation of the pure doctrine of Lucifer, brought finally out in public view. This manifestation will result from the general reactionary movement, which will follow the destruction of Christianity and atheism, both conquered and exterminated at the same time. So in a nutshell, Albert Pike, and those like him, he's not the only person that's in on this. He's just one of the more prominent figures. Many of these people have their legitimate agenda. It may seem like it's leaning one way or another way, but it's all coming together into, seemingly fruition as it's all planned, as laid out in this letter and as many other documentations that's still out there so people can see and find out and read about occultist, Masonic, anti-Yahuwah agenda. Now, as I said before, Pike isn't the only player in this. Other prominent figures like occultist Aleister Crowley, Alice Bailey, that helped found Lucis Trust, named after Lucifer, which is now known as the United Nations. Madame Blavatsky, which heavily influenced the spread of New Age beliefs in the Western world. The likes of Karl Marx spread a form of communism that looks to abolish things like the traditional nuclear family and even morality itself. Charles Darwin and his grandfather Erasmus Darwin have greatly spread the evolutionary theory, which is in direct opposition of Yahuwah Almighty. The thing is, this is all planned. When you have one side, which many people lean towards, that basically promoted live how you want to live, it of course invoked and promoted and exercised very destructive values for society. You will get people to a point now where they get so tired of this debauchery, of lawlessness, they're going to want to rush now to order that's been patiently waiting to enact its plan. Now, up front, it'll sound great, especially when it's brought in under the banner of Christianity. Nothing is good if Yah himself is not at the center of it. A lot of people have claimed to be Christians in the past and present, but they do not have his spirit in them. They do not have his word in them. They may read the word. Atheists, Christians, Jews alike will read his word, and they'll tell you, and they'll boast, I read the Bible cover to cover. And they'll tell you what they think they know. It's amazing how many people would read so much things and only focus and pinpoint on things that they have contention with or doesn't satisfy their questions. And they'll go forward and act as though that they know all there is to know. And unfortunately, many Christians supposedly read the word, go to service every weekend. They don't know. You see, the point, people will be disillusioned with Christianity. That means they will have no more really faith in it. Because when you say a Christian, Christians already in contention with observing the Sabbath. We have Catholics that has a whole lot of canonical laws that has nothing to do with Yahuwah. People who pray to saints and Virgin Mary. You're not supposed to do this. When people from the outside now are looking at, you guys don't have it all together. How are we supposed to stand a chance if you guys can't get it together? If only people will actually read for discernment and then take that, what they read from the word, and apply it to history, they could see how everything connects. When all of these things come into play, just as Albert Pike outlined in his letter, people will be anxious for a solution. That solution will come in the form of Luciferian doctrine. For total control, you must administer chaos. For total control, you must administer chaos, because people would be so desperate for things to change for the better, they will be willing to accept the chip in their hand, in their head, so they can now buy and sell, so that people can do away with religion, because that's unfortunately the cause of many problems, which I agree. Man-made religion, when Yah is totally removed, causes problems. When we look at communism, capitalism, Democrat, Republican, independent, at this point, everybody is in the game. I'll try to make this really short. So I wanted to give you guys an idea of what's going on, what's at stake, what's really happening. I know what's advertised to us. I know that our ideals are tied to our character, to our ego, to our identity. But we have to understand these things are put into play. They're playing chess, and they look at us as pawns. You cannot trust man. What you have to do is be humble, look towards Yahushua HaMashiach, because he's the only way towards Yahuwah. Allow the Spirit, the Ruach HaKodesh, to guide you. It may not happen overnight, and hopefully I plant this seed to change your mind, to change your heart, to open your eyes, to lift up the veil of what the adversary has been doing for a very long time. There's nothing new under the sun. Time is coming short, but I want everyone to understand that everything that we see is not about this destruction and the end of life. It's all about eternal life, about true peace, about true joy. Man, in his wayward ways, will never experience that. This will all come to an end eventually, but I want everyone. I hope I'm there too. There's no guarantee that I could be there eternally, but I'd make my moves, make my struggles every day, and I want you guys to look into this, to know history, to get discernment. Don't be lost. That's all I got. Want you guys to have a beautiful day. You can always catch more of my content on my website, brooklynbaritone.com. There's merch there. There's other productions, voiceovers, all that wonderful thing. You can also see more of my video content on my YouTube channel, Brooklyn Baritone. I'm also on LinkedIn, and you can find me on Facebook and Instagram. You could find the audio versions of these podcasts on Google Podcast, Amazon Music, and Apple Music under podcasts. I also air 4 times a week on local Brooklyn cable television on Tuesdays and Thursdays at 12 a.m. and 2 p.m. on Verizon, Optimum, RCN, and Spectrum. Thank you guys for listening. Have a blessed day.